I like the Suns tonight. I like them laying 6. I thought that spread was fat for how bad they've been playing this season early on and how good Minnesota has looked.
Not so fast.
Midget.
Yeah, little guy. Hey, not so fast.
This is the first game of Booker, Beal, and KD. This is their debut together.
Yeah, that's fucking beat. Fuck Bradley Beal. He is the worst. And I'm officially off of the Suns tonight. I honestly might even fade him. Justin Herbert, I'm just going to say it. He's mid. Dak Prescott, he's a coin respecter right now. He is. Jameis Winston, though.
I feel like he could go in the GOAT category just because he's Jameis.
You could tell last night. Kent State had no business winning that game. They were never winning that game. Shit bets. I cannot believe what my eyeballs witnessed on the court last night in that. What the fuck, dude?
Took Nick Bosa over 0.75 sacks. So Baker is screwed. The offensive line is screwed. Nick Bosa is going to terrorize them.
What's going on, chat? Happy BTL Friday, the best BTL episode of the week, episode 378 piece. As always, hold the fry, joined by your two hosts, Krabs and Javon, presented by SeatGeek. If you guys are going to the stadium this weekend, if you're going to sweat out some NFL, shit. If you're going to sweat out some college basketball before Christmas hits here, go buy your tickets on SeatGeek. It's cheap. You can use promo code BOOKIT for $20 off your purchase. Why not go check it out? I promise, SeatGeek, it's worth your time. Tickets are cheap. They're fire. Okay, that's where I buy my tickets. There's the promo right down there, folks. If you're going to the freaking stadium this weekend, you're going to some bowl games, some local games, Military Bowl, chat. If you want to come to the Military Bowl with me and Goots next week. A very highly anticipated Military Bowl, Tulane BT. Buy your tickets on SeatGeek. Come join me at the Military Bowl in Annapolis, and we'll be seen. All right, gonna have a little tailgate, guys. Beers on me if you come find me in Annapolis at the Military Bowl and get your tickets on SeatGeek. All right, Javon, he's back. Chat, 2 words, back. All right. We held it down while you were gone. We were smacking squad rides. We were going over winners. Yesterday, we were extra dialed in college basketball as well, Javon. So good to get you back. We'll go over the W recaps here from yesterday while you were gone. Squad ride W. Love to fucking see it. College of Charleston Air. The wagon is back. Love to see it. So that one meant more. That one simply meant more. Great to see the wagon on the come up, on the way up. After a slow start to the season, 3 bad losses in a row for Charleston, working out a lot of new rotations. They lost a couple of their stars from last season, but this team is still extremely deep. They still play like 9 dudes a game, Javon, almost 20 minutes per game. It's crazy how deep this team is. They're only going to get better with time, and they've got a stud freshman forward in Smith who continues to impress and play better every game as well. So he's the highest recruit College of Charleston's ever gotten, and he's starting to play like it. This team is a fucking wagon, and they just knocked off a very good St. Joe's team at home, and we know Charleston is an absolute fucking machine at home. They don't lose, okay? This team defends their home floor like no other, and with all the floods going on in Charleston, I'm sure that game meant a little bit more for them as well, getting a big win for their city and their community. So W's Charleston. Javon, we held it down while you were gone with a nice little Cougars dub.
Huge W. Yeah, I like that play. I tapped in.
Yep. Rain Smith absolutely tweaked. I talked about him coming off of debatably his worst shooting performance of his career at College of Charleston. He went off for a record 9 3-pointers last night. The dude was absolutely on fuego. He's one of the streakiest shooters in college basketball. If you go through his stat sheet over the last couple of years, a lot of games where he's 0 for 6, a lot of games where he's 7 for 10. The guy's streaky, and last night, thank God, he was on. And he absolutely carried this offense. Love to fucking see it. Rain Smith. I will toot my own horn on that one because I said that he was going to be the guy, and he was. So W's chat. Hope you guys cashed on College of Charleston. Rain Smith, who was making it rain all damn night. And yes, don't let me get hot in college basketball chat. It literally is too late. It's too fucking late. It's too late. All right. W's. We got Dr. Ako dropping a follow in chat. If you guys are in here for the first time, drop a follow. All right. Stay a while. Okay. We got almost 40,000 followers on the Book It Sports Twitch. Would love to get to 50K soon. Drop a follow if you're in here for the first time. Stick around. Okay. We'll have Trent and the Surge stream starting up at 2 p.m. Eastern after this to go over the slate for today. You guys can go up and pitch him a winner if you'd like. We've got Ron Mux Clam coming in, giving out some subbies. Let's go, Ron.
Let's go.
Happy Friday, Beast. Love to see that. W's. I got another W to show for the squad, Javon. I got a DM from our guy Christian here on the Book It BTL Twitter. Wanted to show you guys this, kind of a novel, but we'll just recap here. This is what he sent to the BTL Twitter. Shout out, Christian. You built the bankroll, so I figured I'd go through the numbers as a thank you here. Tired of seeing you guys getting dragged in the comments when there's losses by morons who can't see the long-term success. This is where it gets good, chat. The squad ride after 300 plays is up 32.51 units. If you bet to win 1U, that is a 10.8 ROI. And by the way, he did correct that. It's actually like almost 9.5, close to 10 ROI. That was a wrong number, but still, that is a crazy return on your investment here. Close to 10% here on the squad rides. Ridiculously high, big enough sample size to say it's consistent. Surely. And we can scroll down here towards the bottom here, Goots. W. Christian, for crunching the numbers and doing the math here, wanted to just let the people know he's tired of hearing the people in chat or the people on Twitter chirping a squad ride out once a week. He was tired of it so much that he went through and fucking crunched the numbers, chat. How crazy is that? You know how many squad rides has to hit for my guy Christian for him to literally sit down for no reason, go to an Excel sheet, and fucking go through all the squad rides and crunch the numbers? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's hard. I'd love to see that.
This is why we play. This tells me it's shit like this that lets me know. It's little reminders like this, Javon, that tell me that we're doing the right thing. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
Look, I don't want flowers from this. I just want this to be a great reminder to you guys that what we're doing, this is not normal. Okay, nobody else does this. The people that do, they go corp and they sell their picks a weekend. Okay, we've been doing this for over a year. Not a single pick sold. Only winners given out for free. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. We got almost 900 people in here today. Let's fucking go, chat. If you guys are in here, drop the link to your buddies in your gambling group chat. We're trying to grow this page. The more people in here watching, the harder we're going to work to find you guys winners. Plain and simple. Okay, we're never going to charge for shit. Just keep promoting us, keep liking our content, and keep sharing our lives. Plain and simple. All right, big time Friday. We don't have time to beat around the bush here, Javon. Let's dive right fucking in to the Week 16. Dudes, run that shit, bro. Let's go. We're back, chat, and we've got a fucking loaded NFL slate for Week 16 here, Javon. We'll get it started with the snooze fest. We'll get them over with. Don't want to put chat to sleep here. 2 games we think are going under this weekend, Javon. Plenty of options, plenty of great spots, a lot of short spreads this weekend, so no excuses from us for not finding winners for the people, and we'll get these unders over with here. I went with Seattle and Tennessee under 41.5. I have another play in this game I like better that we're going to get to in a little bit, but I see Tennessee's defense out of nowhere clamping up a Seattle team coming off a monumental win that's keeping them in the playoff picture. I think Tennessee catches a fat, happy, and complacent Seattle team on the roads after a big-time W where they put up a 20-point performance against Philly and got a big-time win there to keep them alive in the playoff race. Tennessee, on the other hand, coming off an embarrassing loss when they were favorites against Houston's backup. I think we see Tennessee's best this week. I think they have a great week of practice and prep, and them only being +3 dogs tells me that this game will be close, and if it's close, it's got to be low scoring and go under with this Tennessee offense and how fucking brutal they are. I don't know who's going to play QB at Tennessee, so that's probably going to help for the under here, to be honest with you. I just don't see points in this game. The splits are extremely sharp, probably the sharpest splits for an under right now on the board as of right now on Friday. And I'm seeing Tennessee and that total drop from 44 to 41.5. It's probably going to go to 40. I don't see any points in this game. I think it's going to be a field goal game either way, but both teams will be under 20 points in this matchup. Disgusting game that you put on if you want to take a nap during the slate.
Sure, I'm in. W Paddle 5 you sub bang in the chat too.
Go Paddle Watts.
We'd love to see that.
Go Paddle Watts, sure.
I went with the Broncos Patriots under. Which Patriots unders are never like the sharpest thing in the world because they just print unders, and that's what their offense has been. But I think their offense can be sustainable in this game partially because they're playing a run defense that is not great. So like their biggest asset in this game offensively is I don't know if Ramondre is going to end up playing. I think that's still up in the air, but if he is, great, it's him. If it's not, it's Zeke, who's been really good too. So I kind of see the game, at least at the start, going off of how like the start of the Chiefs game went, where they were able to sustain longer drives. They didn't really amount to much, so they're coming away with field goals, if that. And now in a game where I think they're going to chew a lot of clock during those drives because they can make the run game pretty sustainable. Like, I think that's the biggest way that this game is going to go. Obviously, the Patriots defense is going to hang in there, be tough, not give Russ too many of the easy throws, kind of the dump downs, the take what your defense gives you type throws that he's been accustomed to against a lot of the defenses in the past couple weeks where he's been sustainable and good. So I just think this is gross. It's a game that's played on the ground, played with the feet, field goals if Ryland can make them, because he's also been terrible for Nick Folk. But yeah, this game's going to suck. I think it's even with both of these teams, I think this total feels a little significantly low, maybe by a couple points or so.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you. I definitely don't mind that under one bit. Are we going to see Ramondre playing in this game?
I'm not sure what I don't
Okay.
think so, but I think the door might be open. I haven't checked the updated report for him, but regardless, Tim or Zeke, I don't think it really matters.
Okay. We got the Gen Party of 45 coming in hot on this Friday afternoon. Love to see it, boys. What are you guys on? What was the Gen's POD? What is his nuke of the millennium for this Friday afternoon? Need to know what you guys were crafting up before this. Love to fucking see it. We got plenty of space for you in here. Okay. Drop the winners that you guys crafted. Need to know what the Gen's nasty contrarian brain is on today. Okay. W's. Javon, 2 unders, Seattle, Tennessee, under 41.5, and New England, Denver, under 34.5. Let's pivot to a more exciting play. 2 overs that we like this weekend. I went with the Minnesota and Detroit over 47. Thought about just isolating Minnesota here, but I wouldn't mind getting some points from Detroit, and I do think this will be a high-scoring affair. One of the few totals actually on the rise on the way up from 46 to 47 in the spots. And yes, like I said, I think this will be the Nick Mullins legacy game. You guys probably heard me telling Trent to start Mullins instead of Derek Carr in fantasy. That was probably a good move. I mean, Derek Carr probably got some serious garbage points yesterday, but either way, I still believe in Nick Mullins this week. He had 2 picks last week. I would love to have taken his less than pick on the prize picks board, but it's not up. I think it's a goblin or whatever, demon. Either way, though, I think he limits the mistakes, limits the interceptions here, and I think he still has the same production and results and success that he had through the air against this Lions secondary that is no bueno. Now, that Lions D-line, they might cause some issues for the run game, and the Vikings might have not as much success on the run game as they did with Ty Chandler last week, but I think that'll be a good thing for this Minnesota offense. I think they have a great opportunity with Jay Jettis and Addison to get going, and Jay Jettis finally getting a touchdown here this week. Have Nick Mullins, feed your stars. There's plenty of weapons. He showed last week he's plenty good enough to plug into that system and make plays happen in Kevin O'Connell's elite offensive schemes. Give me plenty of points for Minnesota, and I wouldn't be surprised if Jared Goff and this Detroit offense makes this game weird, and Minnesota maybe has a lead at halftime, and Detroit's coming back, and maybe we see some Jared Goff mistakes on the road, maybe a pick that gives Minnesota great field position, or maybe we even see a Lions come back late like they've been doing notoriously, where they put up some points and help this game go over. Either way, there's a bunch of different ways I could see this game soaring over, mainly from the Vikings sneakily, and I like that +3 as well. Don't let that get swept under the rug, but I love points in this game. Minnesota and Detroit easily get a soar over by the 3rd.
Love it. Love it. Love it. W. Len Bong bangs in chat as well.
Hey.
Love to see that. Love to see that.
Let's go, Len.
Yeah, give me the over with the Eagles and Giants on Monday, sure. I believe, because this is another total that feels a little strange to me, because like with these offenses, especially with what we saw from the Eagles offense last week, and we're starting to see a little bit of regression, I guess you could say, from the Tommy DeVito madness or whatever it is, his little insanity run after they just got shut down by the Saints. Tough place to play in the Superdome, whatever it may be. But they got shut down in that game. The Eagles, this is probably the lowest point you're going to get them at, because everybody's injured and Hurts is sick, whatever you want to call it. They looked horrid on front of everybody in prime time last week on offense. So really, I mean, the defense looked a little better, I guess you could say. It's hard to read it with Drew Lock in that offense, but they made some adjustments after last week, so they looked a little better. So now you kind of view the Eagles as offensively challenged coming after last week. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think their offense dominates this game, and I like them on the spread too, which we'll talk about in a second. But I think to dominate this game, a lot of it's going to have to be with the run game. But as banged up and bad as that secondary is, like I think DeVito's going to have a pretty solid day too. So, I mean, this total, I guess, with these two offenses, the way that you look at them in their current state, I was kind of expecting this to stay at like the key number of like 41 and a half. I think the fact that it's risen up to 43, like you said, one of the very few totals of the week that's on the way up, I think that's pretty significant. So I think we get a lot of points, mainly from the Eagles, but I think the Giants hang in and make it competitive, at least for the start too.
I agree line-wise fully, and I do think this game will go over even if the Giants cover. Does the Eagles spread scare me? Sure. Is that an insanely fat number for an NFC East divisional game with the Eagles coming off of 3 moose shit games? You could even probably say 4. Yes, yeah, it is. And I'm with you. I don't blame you for taking the Eagles one bit. I just know that the books are probably going to add a couple extra points on that spread and buff them up because they know that everyone on earth is going to be betting the Eagles on a bounce back spot here and probably not back in DeVito after they had a loss last week and that, Cinderella story ended. But I'm with you, Javon, just by looking at the lines and taking out my NFC East bias, where I know that all these teams keep games weirdly close and low scoring. I take that shit out, and I'm just looking at the lines here. 100% it's Eagles in the over. And I still would probably lean with you, Eagles in the over. I just don't know if I can get over my NFC East biases here. I've just seen this movie before where spreads don't make fucking sense. It doesn't matter. Next thing you know, this game is fucking 10-7 in the third quarter, and everyone's scratching their head saying, how the hell is this even happening? But it's the NFC East, and it's disgusting. But how many more shit games can the Eagles have? I mean, come on. They gotta come through.
I think they can have another one, but I think it comes game 2 against the Giants when they're on the road.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I definitely rather be backing the Giants to pull off their one upset against the Eagles, or at least one cover against the Eagles this year when they're at home. 100%.
Yeah.
I'm with you. This spread is insanely fat, chats, probably for a reason. Maybe we do get that Jalen Hurts bounce back game. All right. Their backs are so against the wall, too. They got to come through. A lot of pressure, though. A lot of pressure. All right. Dubs, let's keep moving and grooving. We will go on to the next category here, which I believe is blowouts. Are we going blowouts? Sure. Javon, why don't we just pivot right to you, my man? We'll keep it simple. You got the Eagles right here after talking about them. What makes you like them covering the 2-touchdown spread?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, everything in the NFC East is usually close, and you have teams that, regardless of the scheduling spot, I mean, to see a line this fat is really interesting. And it's the Eagles, so you usually get an Eagles tax, but after what we've seen from them the last handful of weeks, it's still hard to fathom that this line is at 2 touchdowns. So, I mean, I'm going to buy into it, partially because I think that Giants defense is in a pretty tough spot after a couple games where they've been strained, frankly, and not against the greatest offenses, but they've been on the field a shit ton. So now going on the road against Philly, who are desperate in a spot like this, I think we see a performance like the Cowboys had against Philly in the Sunday night game, where they just physically dominate them. A lot of it's going to be in the run game. So I don't think it's going to be a game where Hurts is going to have to do all that much. Like, I think you're going to see a lot of DeAndre Swift, which people were expecting even more out of last week. Thankfully, he went over his yards for you and a bunch of other people, but he wasn't used, I don't think, nearly as much as a lot of people expected. I think you get that this week. I think you get some Gainwell. I think you get, as well as a lot of people now are betting Boston Scott to score a touchdown, which has gotten steamed down crazy because he owns the Giants for whatever reason. It's about that time of year where he starts kicking in. So, I think you get a three-headed snake of the run game to just dominate. So there's a reason. I think it's at 13.5, and I'll buy in.
I would pay every dollar I've made off the squad ride the last month, which is a literal fuck ton. I'd pay that money to just be able to sit down with Sirianni and just talk through why. Why are you pulling out Boston Scott out of the fucking woodworks at the end of the season when he sucks and you have Swift? I understand. I guess it's probably keeping guys fresh and injury related. And I know some coaches are like this. They're just running back by committee at heart. And I kind of am one of those guys where I do agree that I don't think you should be spending big on a running back. I'd rather go out and draft a guy for free pretty much, or, make a pivot or even make a trade on a running back that has a big contract. But I would pay good money to just sit down with coach and say, hey, what makes you pull out Boston Scott the last 4 games down the stretch? Is it just keeping guys fresh? Why the hell was he not used the first 3 months of the season? How do you deal with these guys? Because I know they're players, and at the end of the day, the coach can do whatever the fuck he wants. But you tell me these guys aren't bitching at all the first 5 months of the season? Maybe they're in on it. Maybe they want to, they're veterans. They want to rest until the end of the season when the games matter. I don't know, but I would fucking love to just sit down and talk through with Coach Sirianni about why the hell he does this shit.
Who knows? Who knows?
Or I could also ask him this little bonus question. Why the hell is Jalen Hurts suck?
Shout out David Carr.
Cut to the shit. Cut to the chase. Why does he suck? Yeah, maybe I'll get David Carr to come in and be a moderator for the talk. That could work. We got a hype train, folks. Love to fucking see it. Hype train level 3s do not grow on trees. I would love to see a level 4. I would love to see a level 4 chat. I don't know if we're going to be able to get there, but level 3 hype train is here. We got AL 100s coming in with a subby. 15 months. Let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go. I'm juiced up by my pick right here. My blowout pick, Javon. Taylor Heinicke is a favorite. Sure. That's it. That's a tweet. Taylor Heinicke's a favorite. Sure. All jokes aside, it will not be the Heinicke show here. It will be the Bijan Robinson show, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the Falcons being a favorite here in the spot against the Colts, who are coming off a legacy performance with Gardner Minshew, who, by the way, I did say this team is better with Gardner Minshew. 3 months ago, and you guys looked at me like I had 700 eyeballs. They are. Not saying that he's a better quarterback than AJ Richardson or that he's going to be a better QB than Richardson, but right now, the way that he's fucking working this team and he's just gritty and the guy can run a little bit and take off behind that O-line that falls apart sometimes, like it just works. It just works. Now, with all that being said, bundle it up, throw it out the window. It doesn't matter. Now they're an underdog on the road. Now they're 8-6. To the Falcons, who are struggling 6-8 after 2 straight losses, backs against the wall, probably eliminated from the playoffs, probably have to win out the rest of the games. They kind of fucked themselves, shot themselves in the foot. Now we got Taylor Heineke going back in here. No chance they win this game against the Colts, who are red hot, who have covered 4-5, who have won 4-5, right? Yeah, I've seen this movie before, guys. NFL is my specialty. I'm locked in this weekend to the boards. And I'll tell you right now, the Falcons, even with that line pulling back, I don't give a hoot. Give me the ML. Taylor Heineke will find a way to win that game. The odds makers are doing the work for us.
Yeah, it just might be.
Let's also not act like the Colts rush defense is not one of the worst in the league and has especially been bad over the last couple of weeks. And Bijan has a prime opportunity to actually get fucking used and keep this team's playoff hopes alive. Now or never. Backs against the wall. Feed your goat. It's time. And I think once we take a peep at his Prize Pick squares, Javon, you might be able to get behind it too.
Yeah, definitely good. Definitely good.
Sure.
I'm with you.
Heineke is him. Yeah, I love Heineke. He needs to show up today, though, or this weekend. He needs to show up and earn his fucking $10 million a year. He does. Come on, Heineke. We got Swiss Cheese coming in with a subby. What's up, Swiss Cheese? W name, W sub. Love to see it. The sprint entry was looking good, too. I know, bro.
Just DMPs.
I know.
It's not like you lose it.
I know, but it was looking very fucking good on a little 4 guys.
Yeah. So what, it just turns into a 2-piece now?
Yeah. Yep. It is what it is. We groove chats. These are our 2 blowouts. Take a little screenshot of these 2 favorites who are going to come through and cover. All right. We will move on to my favorite segment of the NFL weekend preview, the upset alert. Shocker. Okay. 2 of our favorite dogs of the weekends. And yeah, I went with the nastiest one. Sure. And give me the fucking Titans +3 at home against Seattle, coming off of a monumental win against the Eagles that Javon, you and me probably could have played for we probably could have played for Seattle and beaten the Eagles in that game. That's how fucking bad their secondary and defense looked. Okay, let's not get excited here and act like Seattle just cured cancer with that win against the Eagles that anybody could have gotten against that terrible, terrible team that is so overrated and overvalued and a joke. Seattle, though, will be coming into this game fat, happy, and complacent. Seattle will be getting Geno Smith back, right? Sure, Geno Smith only a 2.5-point, 3-point favorite after a big-time win against the Eagles, giving them back to 7-7. Surely they'll win that game and cover against the Titans, who are moose shit 5-9 and are coming off an outright loss against Houston's backup when they were -3 favorites. Surely that'll hit, right? We're fading Geno Smith. We're back in the Titans because I've seen this movie before. Mike Vrabel covers when he shouldn't. Mike Vrabel wins games when he shouldn't because he's Mike Vrabel and he's a winner and he's not fucking tanking for draft picks. He's not tanking for shit. He's going out there winning games. He's going out there telling people he will chop his Johnson off to win a Super Bowl. That's the kind of coach I want my money on, ATS in Week 16 to the NFL, when you're the 5-9 Tennessee Titans up against Seattle coming in like they just won the fucking Super Bowl. Give me the Titans. I don't know how they're going to do it. I don't know who's going to play QB. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This game is going under, and the Titans are going to keep it within 3 points. If you want to go out and buy the hook, sure, be my guest. You're betting the Titans. You probably deserve the right to. But I'll tell you right now, you might not need to. The Titans are probably going to win this game fucking outright. They do this shit every year, folks. Every single year. And I haven't heard Derrick Henry's name in a while. Maybe he gets going against this porous rush defense.
Sure. I'm in. I think it's going to be a lot of Tajay, though. I want to get involved with some Tajay props for sure.
Sure. Tomato. They're the same. He's probably better at this point.
Yeah. Some matchups he might be. I think this is probably the one for it. I'm plugging my nose and I'm playing the Chargers. That's one that I have to play. And it's like partially like coach fired narrative. Like you have to go with it in this spot, especially against one of the hottest teams in the league that nobody wants to bet on. But it's also coming off of the most embarrassing performance, some could argue, and the NFL outside of maybe the Broncos when they got smashed like 70-20 by the Dolphins earlier this season. So in this spot, I just have to go with it. And it's more of a gut play and a system play, but the Bills look like the greatest team in all of football right now. They're as hot as really anybody, not named the 49ers. They're making that surge. This is a crucial game for their playoff hopes. I think they go on the road to SoFi, and the Chargers with Easton Stick make this one interesting. I think it's going to be a pretty simple game plan for Easton Stick, and especially with a whole new playbook or an adjusted playbook that he's going to have to go with in this game, where, to be honest with you, when they looked like they were dumbing things down for him at a point, like it seemed like he was not incredibly uncomfortable, like at parts towards the end of that game, which a lot of that included like Gerald Everett, which he doesn't have a PP square up, but once he does, I'll be taking that. He seems to be his guy. We'll see how he starts to click with Quentin Johnson next week, if that ever happens with the new little play design here. But I just have to play this line. It's gross. It stinks. But the Bills look like they're unbeatable in this spot. Or just they're going to roll. It's too easy. I'm going to have to do it.
You don't even have to fucking give reasoning. It's the fire the coach system play. You go back to your dad.
Yeah.
It really is. But sure, all the other added, extras are pluses. But just fucking bet the coach, bet the team and the coach that got fired. It's not that hard. Who the hell wants to back the Chargers getting 12.5 points to the Bills, who are on fuego? Who wants to bet
points? 12.5 points off a 50, 60-point drubbing.
Who wants to bet that?
They're without one of the best players in all of the NFL, one of the best wide receivers in all the NFL. I don't know anybody who wants to take the line. I'll be the guy.
Give me Easton Stick and give me the 12.5 points. You know what? We're probably going to need those. We probably will need those.
Yeah, you probably will. Probably will.
Yep. Chargers, mandatory system play. Coach got fired. POD. Have to lock it in. Chargers plus 12.5. And then the Titans, which might just be the nastiest fucking spread on the board, plus 3. 2 upset alerts, chat. Take fucking notes. These 2 puppies are smacking. All right. Yep. Dubs, let's get a prize pick squares that we like this weekend, Javon. Yeah, sure. I already talked about Bijan Robinson. It's got to be a legacy game. Could not decide if I wanted to go rushing yards or receiving yards. I was definitely leaning more rushing yards, but I figured, he's been used as a weapon in the backfield a ton recently. And I remember Taylor Heineke being a dink off specialist with Antonio Gibson on the Manders last year. I would not be surprised if Bijan is used a ton as a little receiver as well. So I'm going his more than 85.5 rush and receiving combo yards in this spot. I thought his rushing yards was insanely high, and I think Taylor Heineke is going to feed him on those little dinks like I was talking about, like I've seen before a ton. They're going to need to. They're going to need to against this D-line. And I really don't think Bijan is going to have any troubles running against the Colts rush defense, which is bottom 5 in the league and bottom 3 in the league in the last 3 weeks. They've given up more than 120 yards per game on the ground to running backs. So they're really struggling, and they're going to struggle once again when Atlanta hands the ball to Bijan 25 times in this game and gives him 5 targets in the air as well. No excuses, no reason why this doesn't smack. There's a reason why his squares look super high based on his recent production. It's because this is a great matchup. They're a favorite here. They're going to run the living shit out of the ball because that's the best matchup and chance they have to beat the Colts in that rush defense. It's going to be the Bijan show. And also backup QB Heineke. We saw what happened the first time they put him in there. They try to let him do too much. You got to keep it simple for Heineke. You got to limit the playbook. No throws across the field. No throws really down the field unless you got a Terry McLaurin on your team. Keep it simple for the guy and run the shit out of the football. That's what they have to do to have success. I hope Arthur Smith learned his lesson when he was getting too cute with Taylor Heineke and take some notes from what we did when he was in DC, where you keep it simple, quick slants, quick passes, a lot of screens, using Bijan. More than 85.5 rushing receiving yards.
I'm in. I like it.
Sure.
Taking
and then give me Lamar Jackson. What'd you say?
No, go ahead. I was just saying, taking Lamar under a pick, huh?
Yeah, because it's green. Lamar coming off a couple games with some picks. I do like Lamar in this spot. I'm sure Goots can get behind this one as well. I like the Ravens in this spot against the 49ers. No way Lamar doesn't throw a pick after throwing a couple and not being a good passer and being a running back at QB under center against the 49ers and that elite defense, right? Well, what people don't know is that elite defense is elite, but they're elite because of their front. They're not elite because of their secondary, and Lamar and the Ravens are probably going to play extra conservative against this elite defense and run the living fucking shit out of the football with Gus Edwards, with a lot of dink and dunks to guys like Justice Hill, who I think is going to be utilized a ton. I thought about maybe targeting him, but I wanted to wait it out and see closer to game time if I'm hearing any reports about how many snaps he's going to get. But I think it will be a Justice Hill, Lamar Jackson, and Gus Edwards on the ground game here, where that's how they move the rock and play extremely conservative against a very good defense, who, by the way, is a little bit overrated in the back end with that secondary. And Lamar, that just looks like a free more than against the -5.5 49ers, the best team in football, against a quarterback who's actually a running back who people think can't throw. Guys, Lamar's a better passer than fucking 85% of the league. Let the guy cook. Okay, and I don't even think they're going to be passing that much with him in this game. I think they're going to be running the living heck out of the ball, limit the mistake opportunities, and keep Lamar safe and keep him out of the interception column in the stat sheet.
I have a little nugget. Free Flyer brought this up.
Good
Looks
snug.
like the Niners will be playing from behind.
Whoa. Or the Niners just won't be able to run the ball at all.
That too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Javon, what does that make you think?
I mean, were any of those games competitive? It's like he wasn't throwing the ball in the whole fourth quarter for pretty much any of those games. So like, it's not as weird, I would say, as it appears.
Fair point.
That's a good point. Their last 5 games, they won by 13. They won by almost 20. They won by 25. They won by 12. They won by almost 20. So yes, Brock Purdy probably did not need to pass as much or make as many pass attempts in those games. They probably handed the ball off to their RBs in the fourth quarters. Okay. That's not what that means. 49ers will have more pass-heavy team all season. It just means it probably competitive. Okay, I'm going to need a translation there, Free Flyer. But, Brock Purdy probably will be passing more, though, because I do think the Ravens will be covering and winning that game. Javon, any thoughts on that game since we're talking about it? And it's probably the best game of the weekend.
Probably can't catch me on the Ravens.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Plus 5.5. I know the 49ers have seemed nearly unbeatable to pretty much everybody in the league. Definitely have been unbeatable since their little 2-game stretch, but 5.5 is a lot.
That is a lot. That total's on the move. It's moving up too. I like points.
Yeah.
I like points in that game.
I can get behind that.
What's the meat on table? I missed it. Mr. Beast, you didn't miss shit, brother. Let's hop. Let's talk about the meat on tape plays for the weekend. Our 2 favorite NFL plays of this weekend, chat, for week 16.
Javon's got to give us
PP. Oh, yeah, I got squares, man.
Oh, I'm cutting Javon out of his PP squares.
Unreal.
That should be illegal. Which
I am legally obligated. I didn't put it up here, but you know who else is up for a pick and one of the few ones up on the board that are like a normal square, not like a demon or goblin?
Who?
Josh Allen against the Chargers.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Saw that.
I bet. So I just
had
to bring that up.
Taking that more than?
Yeah, I'm going to take that. But I like these a little better still. Like I said, with the Eagles game, I think they dominate. So, I think there's a definite blowout element to taking like a Gainwell or taking a Boston Scott, like a lot of people seem to be doing. I'm going to take Gainwell partially because I think they're going to find a lot of success running out of the tackles. And it seems like he's carved out a role for himself, kind of regardless of what the game script is, and it only helps you if they're in a blowout spot here too. I just think he's been pretty effective. So, I think in this spot where they're going to be up and they're going to face a Giants defense that you can get a lot of yards on the outside there, I think Gainwell's one of their biggest assets in this game. So I think the usage is going to continue to be on the rise. So I like that 20.5 rush yards, which has continued ticking up a little bit since it opened on the books. Probably going to go up a little higher too. So I like him this week. And I like to fade Jordan Love this week. And it's not a disbelief in the Packers whatsoever, but it has more to do with the Panthers. The Panthers, they play a very similar man press style in the secondary that the Giants do, where Jordan Love really struggled. It's this is the same type of defense as in the Bucs, which, to be honest, Jordan Love didn't look great against the Bucs either, but he definitely looked a lot better than against the Giants because he was facing a soft zone instead of this press man that seems to give him a little bit of trouble. And not only that, but we talk about who he's getting back healthy now for the second game in a row. It's Aaron Jones, and I think you're going to get a little bit of A.J. Dillon this week too if he is going to be back. Those two guys in full against a run funnel defense, that is where you find success against the Panthers. It's on the ground. I don't think he's going to have to throw the ball too much, and I think when he does, he's going to find a little bit of trouble because that secondary is formidable. They're good, and the only reason why they are so bad defensively is because they can't stop the run to save their lives. So, I don't think this is a spot where you're going to see Jordan Love really need to be, Tom Brady in the spot, but I don't think he's just going to have that capability against the secondary either. So I am certainly down to fade him.
Well, I'm blown because I like the Packers in the over in that game, and that scares me.
No, I still do. I just think
you think Aaron Jones is going to have a field day?
Oh, he's going to have a field day, and it especially helps if A.J. Dillon is going to be back too. So, I think that's where the offense is going to come from them. I just don't think it's going to be Jordan Love with a massacre through the air. I don't think that's what's going to be the game script in this game.
Okay. Fair. Sure. Awesome. Bowl game picks for today, Sam. We will get to those shortly, my man. Stick with us. Okay. Krabs, thoughts on Bijan? More than 14.5 rush attempts, a plus Chicky. I like it. I like the rushing receiving yards combo better, Joshy, but I definitely could get behind his more than rush attempts. I think they're going to be winning the game. Towards the end, they're going to be feeding him with carries in the fourth quarter, closing that puppy out. They will not leave the ball in Taylor Heineke's hands at the end to close that puppy out. Okay. Bench you love for Mullins and fantasy, Phil Zutley says. Do you agree with that, Javon?
Yeah, I would not be starting Jordan Love in the slightest this week.
Damn, I like him this week.
Jordan Love?
I'm blown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm blown. I have him starting in my DFS lineup as QB actually this week.
Why?
Because I love the over in that game, and I love the spread moving that way, and he's under center, and they're going to be putting up points.
You just got to hope he gets touchdowns. I don't think he's getting yards.
Yeah, no, you're scaring me off for sure. Might have to pivot to Mullins. Okay. Aaron Jones, Tutty, Viz, make sure you check that he's playing. I think he's going to play. I have him in a fantasy lineup in one of my leagues that I'm actually in the playoffs in, so I need him to play, and I'm happy to think that Javon is assuming he's going to go off. Would you start Minshew over Love? Obviously, it rides a lot on Pittman fantasy-wise.
Hell yes, I would start Minshew over Love. When the Falcons give up touchdowns, they give up passing touchdowns. Like that's their whole thing. Like they've been good against the run in the red zone, which scares you for a lot of running backs going up against them. Like even Rachaad White needed it through the air, which is more Rachaad White, I guess, game script for
Although he's turned into a fucking elite receiver.
He's literally Megatron now, which is crazy. And he's actually been great on the ground too, which is surprising. The Bucs have a run game, which is fun. But I think Minshew, which again, not a square we have up here, but he has a demon square for 1.5 passing touchdowns that I will gladly take as well.
A lot of questions in chat. You guys came prepared today. Do I start Dak or Gino?
Dak.
I would probably start Dak. I wouldn't want to go anywhere near Gino this week. But I'm not sure how well Dak is going to play either. But I'd go Dak over him. Panthers give up the second lowest fantasy points since week 10, and Lions give up the most since week 10. Mullins it is, sure. Do not hate that one bit, Phil's. W. Phil's milk. Johnny Taylor masterclass through the air. I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, little dink and dunk sash.
Yeah, I could see that. I could certainly see that.
Yeah, love the Phil's nugs. W's. Let's keep pushing though. We got to power through these because we got to go over the bowl games for tonight. And we have to go over college basketball plays, which we have a lot today. So let's keep powering through. Let's do meat on tape plays for the weekend, chat. Fucking lock in. Take a little screenshot of this one. Boop. All right, 2 of our favorite plays of the weekend in NFL Week 16. I'll get it started off with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know who's playing quarterback for the Steelers this week, and I don't care. It doesn't matter. It could literally be the DoorDash driver that I'm going to call for dinner later, playing QB, and I wouldn't give a shit. I would still bet Pittsburgh +3 in this spot after 3 straight losses, 3 straight games they haven't covered, 4 or 5 losses, 4 or 5 games they haven't covered against the Bengals, who continue to win with Jake Browning, who is now the longest lasting Cinderella story out of any of these backup QBs yet. He's the only one yet really that has not gone down yet. Still can fucking carrying this legacy, backup performance going in for Joe Burrow, like it's literally still Joe Burrow playing. Enough is enough, guys. How long is this going to continue? Is this team going to continue to win with Jacob Browning under center? Not saying the kid has not deserved his flowers. Not saying the kid is terrible. He's not. But it cannot last. Enough is enough. And against the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, this is a recipe for disaster against a Pitt team that is absolutely starving for hope. A Pitt team that is starving for a win. And what better spot to get one than at home against a divisional rival who they own, and the Bengals with their backup QB who's been on a fucking legacy run. It can be Mason Rudolph. It can be fucking Kenny Pickett. It can be literally Mitch Trubisky. I don't give a shit who it is. It doesn't matter. Honestly, the worse QB they put in, the better, because that's going to make this line even stinkier and nastier and make less sense. The fact that the Steelers are only +3 in this spot is hilarious. Sure, it's the Steelers at home. Sure, it's Mike Tomlin who finds ways to win games when most wouldn't, but I don't care. These are games. These are spots. These are bets. These are +3 spots at home in divisional games that smack. Give me the Steelers. Give me Mason Rudolph. Give me that defense to lock in and TJ Watt to get a fucking cover. against the Bengals. This game's probably going to soar under as well. The total's down to 38. Great. The more that total drops, the more I like the Steelers in this game. We're going to need TJ Watt to have a fucking masterclass out there, probably having a pick six or some sort of forced fumble. But good thing that guy does it every other fucking game. Okay, perfect matchup. Fade the Cinderella story in Jake Browning and the Bengals, who continue to win with their backup, and back the Steelers with their backs against the wall, who need a win more than they need air.
Yeah, they need it. And there's some weird prize pick squares up for the Steelers. Say that. The one that I probably like the most, it's not really weird, but Pat Fryermuth is sneakily Mason Rudolph's guy. So like I don't know how it's going to look in the new offense necessarily, but I will be taking a stab on some Fryermuth squares this weekend. But I think the Steelers hang in there too. I'm with you. I'll be on them tomorrow. I'm taking the Cowboys on the road to get their fourth win, maybe on the road. I think they're 3-4 heading into this game, which really it's not a line play or anything. And yes, absolutely, money is green. Sure. We bet lines. You don't bet teams. You don't bet with your heart. Yeah, that's why I'm betting on the Cowboys, who I would really not like to see win because I despise the Cowboys. And Max faded them last week, and Max bet them the week before. So now I'm back on the train, hoping to get 3-0 in the last 3 weeks. I think it's them this week against the Dolphins, which really something has to give in this game because the Cowboys have been bad on the road and haven't had many great matchups on the road either. As far as like the better teams they've played, and the Dolphins haven't really beat many good teams. So you got to pick one of those to lose out, and I think it's the Dolphins against another good team flopping again, which the one thing about the Cowboys too is like whenever they've flopped, and especially when it's been a couple of these games on the road, they've had to have Dak be their superhero, minus like the Cardinals game, which he turned the ball over a couple times, was really weird. The defense was awful. But other than that, like he's had to be their superhero because they haven't been able to run the ball. Dolphins secondary has gotten better, especially since Jalen Ramsey has been back. The run defense still isn't great. People think that it's good because they're playing from ahead against the Jets and a bunch of teams that can't run the ball really the entire season, but especially like the last 5 or 6 weeks, we've seen what can happen when Dallas establishes the run game. When Tony Pollard is gashing teams and gashing defenses like they did at home against the Eagles, who that's a really good run defense that he did that against, and a really good front that they were out physicaling the entire game. If you can do that, this makes life so much easier for Dak. So, like, yeah, he hasn't been as great on the road. It's because he's had to throw the ball 40 times every single game, and Tony Pollard's averaging 2.2 yards a carry in those games. So now I think Tony Pollard's going to have a field day. Everybody tries to pick out Tony Pollard day every single week. He's always sharp. He's always all read out or whatever you want to call it. I think he has a great game against this Dolphins front. And I think Dak really doesn't have to do too much against the secondary, who I do have a little bit of respect for. I think one of the most underrated units over the past couple of weeks has been the Dolphins secondary is reemerging. And tough spot, obviously, against the Titans, where a lot of that kind of fell on them towards the end of the game. But other than that, they've been really good. So it's not that I don't have respect for them. But this week, I think we see the Cowboys with a big performance on the road for the first time really against a good team on the road, you could argue. So something's got to give. I'll be taking the Cowboys a plus check.
All right. How about them Cowboys? Hate to say it, but that was a fucking legacy pitch, legacy play. Loved everything he said. Couldn't agree more. Miami coming off a 30-0 spanking of the Jets in their last game. Cowboys coming off of a embarrassing loss on the roads, 10-31 to the Bills. The narrative this week has been Cowboys can't win on the road. Cowboys better hope they get a home game in the playoffs. Cowboys suck. Cowboys can't do shit, even then they continue to win and impress. And people were overreacting to one loss against the hottest team in football in the Bills, who would not lose to a super team of the best players of the decade right now. The Bills would not lose to those teams, although the Bills are going to win this game this weekend by less than 12.5 points. But I love the spot on both sides, with the Cowboys coming off that bad loss, everyone overreacting, and with the Dolphins coming off that 30-0 win and everybody acting like they're back. Guys, this Dolphins defense, sure, they might have looked a little bit better recently, but this team has also lost a significant or key player in each of the last 3 weeks on that defense. So the injury bug has gotten them too, and Dallas should be able to take advantage of that, and maybe we'll finally see Tony Pollard be sharp.
Yeah, I haven't seen the official report, but people forget the Dolphins' entire offensive line got hurt or has been hurt over the past week. And when Tua is pressured, he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL, quite literally by the numbers. So if they're out or not at full strength, he's going to have a serious problem on his hands.
I'm going to say this in the best way possible because I'm not rooting for this to happen. I never would, and I really hope it doesn't. But if Tua were to get hurt, Unfortunately, this probably would be the game that it would happen against Micah Parsons and this elite defensive line. I hope for his case and for his sake that O-line has their fucking head on a swivel against this Cowboys D-line that's going to be out for blood after an embarrassing loss. Really hope we don't see that, Tua, injury stuff anymore. But that guy has caught the injury bug bad in his career, and it's been a little too good recently. Let's just hope that we don't see that happen. But this could be a game where the Cowboys do some damage in this game.
Yeah, for sure.
Damage. Okay. All right, let's move. Let's groove. You want to talk about some touchdown scorers this weekend?
Sure. What do you
got? You get us started off first. All right, I'm going to go with the Commanders guy in a second, but I want you to get us started off first here. What do you like for ATTS scorers this weekend?
Start me with Tony Pollard, since we're talking about this game, which, again, he's been a guy that has been kind of sharp pretty much every week. Everybody tries to go with him on any given day, which truthfully, he went through that little stretch here against a couple of bad run defenses between the Panthers, Commanders, and Seahawks game where he actually panned out for a couple people. And now they were, despite how well they ran the ball against the Eagles and were physical that entire game, he didn't get in the end zone. And obviously, they got dominated last week, and their only touchdown was that garbage time one late in the game. Now I think they dominate, and I think they reward him when they get in the end zone. Got to hope for no Rico, Dowdle, Mima touchdown, whatever. But it's a risky run, and I'll be running that risk with Tony Pollard this week.
Okay, Tony Pollard, he's up there on the board for a nice little touchdown there. Not even a demon or a goblin. You're going to try to catch the fallen knife here and back Tony Pollard.
Well. Yeah, you see that CD square too, of course.
Yeah, can we pull that CD square up real quick? I need to see it with my own eyeballs. But I'm assuming of all time. We'll pull it up here real quick. Where is he at? Sure. Top left sector there, Goots. Yep. That should hit, right, guys? But the thing is, though, I don't even want to fade that. I'm going to joke about it. But
you can.
Straight up. I shouldn't even be making jokes about it because I don't even have the cojones to put the coins on the less than there because I know that shit ain't hitting. It doesn't. He has taken over the Tyreek Hill role of scoring a fucking touchdown every week. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Incredible.
As soon as I forget who it was, but who was the NFL analyst who chirped CeeDee Lamb a month into the season for not being a wide receiver one? Do you remember that? Who was the guy who chirped him? Gosh.
Chirp CeeDee Lamb.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody in chat. Was it Richard Sherman? Was it Richard Sherman on the worst pregame and postgame NFL coverage in the history of coverage on Prime? It was Sherman and that absolute joke of a cast.
I bet.
Oh, that makes it even better. That makes it even better. These guys, they take that personally and they hear everything. Everything. Okay? Unbelievable. That's fucking hysterical. Any other touchdown scores that you're eyeing before I give you my guys?
Yeah, and I guess it's kind of a little square two-pack, but let's go to the Packers-Panthers because I have to point out the odds on this because obviously the Packers are the favorite in the game. Aaron Jones, you have a potential time split, so I get it. But I like Aaron Jones to score. That's my main pick in the game. But when I look at the odds in the book for this, he's not the juiciest in the game, which kind of shocked me a little bit. It's Chuba, which is interesting to me. He's minus 105. I see Aaron Jones at plus 120, so I like Aaron Jones, and I will be taking Aaron Jones, but I can't ignore the fact that Chuba Hubbard is sitting there at minus 105, which is also really strange to me, being juicier than anybody on the Packers side for this game. And I know the Packers' run defense has been god-awful, but still, that's a lot of respect, I would say, price-wise, for a 5-point underdog in a 37.5 total game with Chuba Hubbard. So that was the price on the board, kind of like Sam Laporta last week that really stuck out to me. So I might have to be on Chuba as well. But actual game reasoning-wise, I do like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, points in that game. That's good for the over that I like in that matchup.
That is. Yeah.
Music to my ears. And that is weird to see Chuba getting that much respect. But I'm happy to see that. I'm a Chuba supporter. I think Chuba's been the best running back on that team all season, and I'm glad to see him finally getting the rock. And getting a chance to shine, and he's going to have another chance to shine against a terrible rush defense this week. And another reason why I think that game's going to go over as well. Chat, we bet lines, not teams, and you cannot ignore that. Chuba Hubbard's probably getting in the fucking end zone this week.
Yeah.
It's probably getting
100% in. 100% in.
I want to take a stab at Logan Thomas to score a tutty. It's been a long time since we've talked about Big LT, but I think the Commanders, this is a game that they win for no reason. I've already seen it. This is a game that they're going to win, and it's going to ruin my holiday because I want them to lose and get a good draft pick. But Ron Rivera will stand there with his arms crossed and find a way to win this game because it doesn't mean anything and because they shouldn't. Okay, but I'll tell you what, Sam Howell is going to have to ball out because there's starting to be talks now where he might not be the guy, and people are starting to say maybe the Commanders should draft one of these elite QBs with that 4th overall pick or 3rd overall pick, whatever it is. Sam Howell still has some work to do, folks. Sam Howell still has some proving to do to the ownership before they make a move and bring in a new GM this offseason. They got to rebuild this team. And I would not be shocked because everything they've done to rebuild this team so far has been like it's an expansion team where it's pretty much fresh start, brand new. Wouldn't shock me at all if there's been talks inside that organization and clubhouse that nobody is safe who was in there from the previous regime. Even Sam Howell, who played great in the first half of the season and has started to struggle a little bit. People are starting to say maybe the book is out a little bit on Sam Howell. I think it's more of a coaching and effort issue on that team. And I don't really think he's set up for success at all. But I do know this. You're going to get maximum effort from Sam Howell this week. And after an atrocious couple games, he needs to put up a good game this week to prove that he deserves to be the starting quarterback under center for this team for years to come. So the Jets defense, sure, they have great cornerbacks. I fucking bet. Logan Thomas, we haven't seen or heard his name in a while in the end zone. I thought it was weird that he was at plus 500 this week. He's been a little fatter recently in a game with this low total against the Jets defense as a dog. So I think it's going to be LT in the end zone finding his way to come through and put up some points for the Manders. And I like him at plus 500 for a value plot.
Interesting. Kind of like that. Kind of like that.
Sure. Okay.
Can't say I've been on the right side of Logan Thomas too much this season, but might have to get involved. Just might have to.
LT week. Yeah, I wish they had a goblin up or a demon up for his tutty, but that would be a lot to ask for Logan Thomas.
That'd be a sick move. Absolutely sick person move.
Okay.
You have any more?
All right. No, not as of right now. We could talk through another one if you want, but
I haven't decided exactly who I want to go with this, but I am debating between in the Cardinals-Bears game going with Michael Wilson or just squaring up and taking Trey McBride. Because I do think they're going to do something against this Cardinals or this Bears defense. They're not going to be able to run the ball. Don't think James Conner is going to have a great day. Marquise Brown just got ruled out, so the target's got to go somewhere. And I like Michael Wilson. It's like Trey McBride is probably the easy option there. And I do see he's up for that square as well. But Michael Wilson is a guy that has slowly gotten on through like the last, really all season. But when he gets the targets, he's been fantastic. He hasn't really seen the results in the end zone all that much. Definitely not as much as Trey McBride has. But that's probably the guy that I want to target against the Bears defense. Like I may take a stab on him to get in the end zone.
Ooh, Michael Wilson. A name you talked about before the season even started as a potential weapon on this team down the stretch. And now look at him. He's being utilized. Could be Michael Wilson day. McBride has been a fucking beast recently for this team, but he hasn't been scoring tutties. So maybe it's a Michael Wilson yards game and maybe it's a McBride tutty game. But I do like
I think the opposite. I think the opposite.
Ooh.
I mean, the way that Njoku, like saying right here, the way he looked is crazy. So like that's kind of been the story for a little bit. It's kind of been the story for a couple weeks when they face guys with that skill at the tight end position. So like I think McBride's going to gash them, but in terms of taking a little value on somebody getting the end zone, I think Michael Wilson's probably my guy, especially because I think I'm looking at like the odds board and I see Marquise Brown like got ruled out an hour ago and he's still on the board. So I assume the prices have not adjusted just yet.
Chad, take notes if you're trying to lock some plays in for the weekend. Maybe put in some Arizona squares before they change them up after that Marquise news. Okay. W's. I think that's enough NFL for one day. We got college basketball games we need to go over. We got a bowl game we got to talk about here real quick, Javon. Let's pivot to the bowl game really quick. I don't love Georgia Tech today, but I like them. I like them +6, and I like the points here. Another ACC team to find a way to cover a bowl game. 2 6-6 squads going against UCF. UCF had a W to get into the spots against Houston as minus 16-point favorites in their last game of the season. Did not cover, but they got a big-time win. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, was already in, and they actually hung around and played pretty darn well against Georgia last week. This Georgia Tech team finished the season extremely strong. They've got some momentum with their new coach. Thank God they don't run that fucking triple option anymore, acting like they're a military academy on the field. Don't know why the hell they did that for so long. But it's good to see their new regime starting to gain some traction here as an ACC guy. Georgia Tech is on the come up. I've been impressed with how they've looked and played the last month and a half, 2 months of the season, and they've got more starters going tonight than UCF does generally. So give me Georgia Tech. Both these teams, I think, have most of their guys out there, though, on the field. We are going to see Plumlee as well for UCF. But I like the points here with that spread moving down from 6.5 to 6, with Georgia Tech keeping this one within a ton.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I like Georgia Tech. I don't know if I'm going to get to the counter with it, but I mean, they can run the ball in this game. The one thing about UCF that you can say pretty certainly in any scenario, their run defense is Swiss cheese. I mean, that's kind of been the story with a couple of those teams down there, kind of in the mid tier of the Big 12, like them, maybe like Texas Tech, even. I guess you really can't put Baylor in the mid tier, but add them into it too. There's a couple of really bad run defenses in the Big 12, and UCF is certainly one of them. So I don't know if it's going to have to be strictly a game plan from like the Haynes King perspective, just kind of let him run and be free and take control of whatever offense he wants. But between him and the couple of running backs they have in the backfield, like I think they're going to have plenty of success. I don't think that's really a tough sticking point for them. So if you can run the ball super effectively against UCF, you can keep up. Your offense can keep up. So I do like them with plus the points in this game. I think it's going to be a pretty close game down to the end. Might win.
Yeah, and this could be a ball game over as well. Looks like ASIM got a great number there early in the week. It moved up from 62 to 67 at this point. So who knows where it's going to close tonight, although the game is only in a couple hours. But definitely looking like it's going to be an over, and both offenses have a lot of their players playing, not really sitting out, and great matchups like Javon was just talking about. So I'd say Georgia Tech in the over. If you guys are looking for action in this bowl game, I think I prefer Georgia Tech with the points. I just love that momentum. And we've seen ACC teams finish the season strong in recent years. They've got a ton of teams playing in bowl games this year. For some reason, that shit matters to them. And I think this Georgia Tech team wants to continue building on their momentum from the last month and a half, which they haven't had in probably a decade at that school. So give me Georgia Tech, give me the points, and we'll hold on for dear life against a pretty good offense at UCF. Okay.
Sneaky inside info. UCF was out pretty late last night because we saw that. We saw them down here. Yeah, we saw their team bus, which I don't know why this is a thing, why people do this like just in Tampa, because we saw this last year too with Mississippi State when they were down in Tampa for the Gasparilla Bowl. They brought their team bus to the bar, which was –
That's smart.
That's really smart. And UCF's team bus was also out last night, very late. So
okay,
sneak nugget. Mississippi State was a different little circumstance there post Leach, so you kind of knew they were always going to cover for Leach. But UCF, I don't know if they're locked.
Does not sound like they're locked. It sounds like they're whooping it up over the holiday weekend here, taking advantage of their little vacation. Huh? Yeah,
which I mean,
you
for
think
them,
those nerds at Georgia Tech are going out partying? No,
I don't even know what they did travel wise, like if they're staying here or not, because it's only like an hour and a half drive. It's like they might have like just not gone anywhere and just gotten here. I don't really know what their plan is.
Well, Georgia Tech, all those engineers, those kids are pretty smart. They'll probably be pretty dialed. They probably haven't touched a beer in a year.
Yeah, just
okay. Interesting. That's another edge for Georgia Tech. Another check in their column. All right, W's.
I mean, hey, Georgia who knows what they were doing last night? But we know UCF is true.
Probably crunching numbers and building bridges and shit. All those engineers down there at Georgia Tech. Probably designing some sort of crazy infrastructure. All right. W's, let's move, let's groove. We don't have time for fun or jokes or smiles. Let's hop to college basketball plays, Javon, because I got a couple of them that I fucking love, and we have to power through this slate.
Yeah.
Okay? Good. Start scrolling, brother. Definitely lean Milwaukee against Chattanooga. Don't know if I'm going to get to the counter with Milwaukee, because Milwaukee likes doing this every year, every game, where they are getting mad line respect for no reason, and the spread did move from Chattanooga -1 to -2.5. This game starts up in about 25 minutes, Javon. If people are looking for some day game action, I'd recommend Milwaukee with the points here on the spread at home. But personally, I think I'm good back in the fake sharp Milwaukee team. I'm just going to keep it as a lean for now.
Yeah, that's fair. Same headspace there. Kind of lean them, but I don't want to get to the counter with that.
Okay. Keep moving. Keep grooving. UABs. Thoughts on UAB against Drake? Looks like they have moved up from 3.5 to 4.5 point favorites. And again, I know this UAB team gets mad respect. I know this UAB team was pretty fucking good last season, and maybe that's carrying some weight in the lines here against a Drake team. But Javon, I can't ignore it. This Drake team has been a fucking machine this whole season. It looks like they're having a Tucker DeVries, send-off legacy season here. They're 11-1. They've been smacking teams. But if you look at who they've been playing, I mean, their schedule is so fucking easy. Not saying UAB has played a much harder schedule, but I will say the UAB is not covered in almost a month at this point, Javon. And it's pretty weird to see them opening up a 3.5 point dog against the 11-1 Drake Bulldogs here.
Yeah, that's fair. I definitely still lean UAB, even with the move here. But I'll tell you what makes me a little more interested is probably that total with how much that's gone up. Really, even since we've gone on here, it's up to 153.5 now, which even I've not tried this, but I've looked at it in some spots where like UAB like kind of has seemed sharp this year, and it's been against a lot of teams that aren't the fastest, which this is probably the worst Drake defense, I guess we could argue, we've seen over past years, just because their offense is kind of better. And it seems like they're rounding into shape really just because they're playing a couple of teams that are pretty putrid offensively. I don't really believe that's the case just yet. It's like UAB, I think they're going to make them run, which I think Drake's offense can certainly hang in this game, but I would probably lean with that over, if anything, if that move there. Because I think regardless of how this goes, like I think UAB is going to have plenty of success against that defense, run and transition, shoot from three. They give up plenty of open looks from three. So like I probably like points more than anything.
Okay. A little overlean there for Javon and Drake and UAB. Both those teams can put up plenty of points. Plenty of points. I mean, if you look at their recent games, they give up points, they score points. There should be plenty of points today in this matchup. Let's hope UAB speeds them up and gets a cover here. Maybe even outright win, upset at home against Drake, who's been on fire. Eric Gaines is a absolute fucking stud.
Dog.
It's going to have to be the Gaines shot. It's going to have to be. All right, let's keep moving here. I got nothing in these next couple, Javon, unless you got Corpus Christi plays.
Yeah, not touching Corpus Christi. I'll tell you that much. That
Nichols versus Towson, your school versus my school.
That Nichols total is low. It's
Ooh.
like I don't know. When they play teams, they keep them in the half court. They definitely struggle. So like I get it in that sense, especially as an 8-point dog, but they also play really fast. So like to see this total dropping down to 133. I know it plays right into Towson's hands because they're going to play slow and it's going to be a defensive masterclass, or at least should be on paper. That's it's a low total.
If you guys are watching on YouTube and you guys want to chat it up in chat or vote for the squad ride in about 15 minutes, come over to Bucket Sports on Twitch. All right, that's where most of the squad's at. Come join us. All right, if you're alone in YouTube asking why there's nobody in chat, come over to the Twitch page. Okay? Javon, fading this Towson offense, probably not a bad idea.
Yeah, and I mean, Nichols, I would say fading Nichols' offense is probably not the worst idea, too. Because, I mean, it's weird because, like, I don't know how much respect you can show, like, total-wise for Nichols, but, like, I was talking about this with Mid-Major Matt, who's just in the chat. Like, we were talking about this with Maryland, where they went on the road 2 days ago or 3 days ago, and they put up 67, like, against Maryland with a team total of, like, 50. So, like, now, after that game, soared over that number, and they certainly soared over their team total number. They're getting less respect against Towson. That really looked at me funny.
Interesting, bro. Interesting. We're getting follows in here. Let's fucking go. Eximum dropping a follow. Dats Casper dropping a follow in Twitch. Love to fucking see it. If you guys are watching on YouTube, grow up and come over to the Twitch. Okay. Let's keep scrolling here, Javon. These games absolutely stink. But if I have plays in them, I'd let you know. Nothing in these ones.
Yeah, sure.
Here we go. I got a basketball brain play that I want to run by you, and it's against your TCU Horned Frogs. I want to back Nevada. I want to back Blackshear. I want to back this elite group of guards in Nevada who likes to run a little bit against TCU. Give it a little bit of a taste of their own medicine today on the road, Javon. Any thoughts on fading your Horned Frogs in this spot?
I don't really know what to do with this game, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, there's probably couldn't be a better matchup for TCU on paper because they want a team that's going to run because that plays right into them. And then, like yesterday, we got the random neutral site tournament Chuck O'Bannon game, which he shows up like twice a year, and he was like 6 of 7 from 3 with like 20 points. He always does this in like neutral site tournament games. So I don't know if he's going to do this for the entirety of this tournament or what the deal is going to be, but they shot well yesterday. And yes, it is in Hawaii. But yeah, they shot well yesterday. I don't know if that's going to continue. You definitely typically want to fade teams coming off of a 110-point performance if they're playing the next day. So can't really argue with that, but I'd be a little concerned. I just don't know who's going to stop TCU in transition for Nevada.
It's going to be Nick Davidson, the 6'9" sophomore wing, who plays like Slenderman, but can shoot threes and can dunk and dribble and do everything. It could be him.
Fair.
It's probably not going to be Jared Lucas. He doesn't play like a defense.
Yeah, he's also too small. It's like, I mean,
it could be Blackshear. Blackshear is very athletic. He just doesn't play much defense.
He is. I'm telling you, if Jameer ends up one-on-one on Jared Lucas the entire game, yes, points. Hard to take
the over in this game,
but yeah, I like points. If Jameer Nelson is one-on-one on Jared Lucas for a lot of the game, that is barbecue chicken to the rim.
That could be barbecue chicken alert.
That's my primary concern of fading them.
That could be barbecue chicken alert.
If they end up switching or whatever, it's good for Nevada. If they're smart, they probably will. But that he is going to be getting cooked all game.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right. Good thing he can also score though, and that's his strength. His strength is definitely not defense. We know he's about to be barbecue chicken alert, 100%. The over is getting 64% of bets, 52% of handle right now on the green book, so not ideal. Definitely a little public, not really surprising there, and that total is moving up. Could definitely be the over. And yes, let me know if Taysom Hill scored last night, guys.
Yeah,
still need to go back and rewatch that game.
Still waiting on it.
Giovanni, I mean, you and me put together the worst two-piece in the history of the earth last night, by the way. Can't forget about recapping that one. Kyron Williams, less than 19 rush attempts. Sure, that should hit. He had 20 million rush attempts. Taysom Hill, more than fantasy score. That should hit. That guy fucking sucks. And so did the Saints.
Derek Carr.
Shout out Derek Carr, man. Derek Carr has Carson Wentz feet in the pocket. Derek Carr has the yips. Derek Carr looks scared. Derek Carr right now in the pocket for the Saints looks like that kid on your youth baseball team that was afraid to get hit by a baseball and would stand in the back of the box. And anytime a pitch would be thrown anywhere near him, he would dive out and probably scream like a little girl in the box. That is literally Derek Carr in the pocket right now. He is scared for his life. His feet are running at a speed I've never seen before. He's running in place, literally in the pocket like Carson Wentz used to do before he got the hook and was out of the league. Get him out of here. I'd literally rather have Kyron Williams play QB for me than Derek Carr. He sucks.
Yeah.
He's terrible. And Taysom Hill right there with him. Whose idea was it to sign Taysom Hill? That cannot be good, chemistry-wise. It cannot be good consistency-wise. It cannot be good just reps-wise. Throwing in a fucking other QB in there, not only does that take the mojo away from the starter, it throws everything off. It throws a wrench in everything, as we get the thumbs up emoji again, sure. It throws a wrench into everything.
What is that?
Bro, I don't know. When I get thumbs up, it does weird stuff.
Is that like...
Oh, there it is.
What is that?
There it is again. There it is again. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
What? Dude, what is this?
Come on. Give me one. No? Goods, is that you, man, pushing buttons in the back?
No, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It's not me.
No, it definitely is.
No, it's not.
It definitely is.
No.
Okay. Daily Crabs firework, bang, more than a half. Cash it. Do not order cameras from TikTok, folks. Do not do it. Okay. Who knows what gadgets and gizmos they're gonna have in that camera. Anyways, that's enough shit talking about Derek Carr and the Saints for losing us coins last night. King of the board. Before we finish up this college basketball, Javon. A little king of the board update from yesterday, Goods. Can we flash that puppy up there? Because Javon, I think, has some work to do. And I don't know how the fuck he's going to do. Looks like he needs to throw another Hail Mary today.
So what does that need? 230? Just above 230? Plus 230?
One on record that it should have been a 5-0 sweep, too, in the left sector there. And ODU can literally get
that was a fluke way to not sweep. I'm up 2.54
U's. You're down a couple. You got to throw something that's like plus 275 plus 280 or higher, some shit like that.
Somebody crunch the numbers in chat so I have the exact number. I can't do math.
Somebody break out of calculators. Somebody break out of calculators in chat for the people and crunch the numbers real quick. How many units does Javon need? Plus 277.
I already know who I know who the team is. I'll tell you that. I just need to figure out the number. 277. All right.
277 is what it's looking like. Okay. Sure. W's. Is that to tie or is that to win by 0.01 units?
It's a great question.
Is that to tie or is that to go over by 0.01 units? That's the last thing we need to know as we get a pings for you sub bang, as we get a don't fade 86 sub bang. Looks like that's what you need to
win.
Huge. Okay. Dubs, good fucking shit, boys. Way to make yourselves useful in chat. Love to fucking see it. Are you ready to give out a play yet for this, or do you want to wait?
Let me wait so I can do the calculations here and find the line for it. But
crunch those damn numbers. We'll pivot back to college basketball. We got a lot of really good games to go over still. Murray State +6. I want to take Murray State. +6 in this spot. Javon, it's nasty, but this SMU team is not as good as they've been playing recently. At least I don't believe they are. Sure, they're 8-4. Sure, they've covered 4 games in a row. Sure, they're coming off of some nice wins against teams like Florida State, and the rest are pretty much moose shit. I mean, they have Houston Christian. They've got Texas A&M Commerce. The teams they've beaten are these crummy teams from Texas who they've absolutely destroyed, and they have no business even playing against them. Murray State, on the other hand, their schedule has not been much tougher, and to be honest, they haven't won a game since Nam. They are 3-8, but they're home in this game. It is on CBS Sports Network. This is a big game, a big spot, a big bounce-back look for this Murray State team, who is a short dog at home. I think we can all agree that they're a short dog at home. Now, luckily, this team does still have one good player left. They have Rob Perry, who's a stud senior guard for this Murray State team. He is going to have to go off against SMU and this defensive-minded squad that has honestly overperformed on the offensive side of the ball recently, but it's because they're playing teams like Texas A&M Commerce and Houston Christian, Javon. Now they got to go against a much better defense on the road at Murray State. I'm going to take the chances with the points here and grab them at home. Give me the Racers. They keep this one within a couple buckets.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. And to be honest, I looked at the line and I kind of wanted to do the same thing. The only thing that's keeping me off is that I haven't really done it. Like I haven't been burned by fading SMU too much, but they always just don't really get much line respect. So I'm not going to say I buy them as a team because I really don't, but it's pretty clear that Vegas doesn't either. So I'm going to sit back and watch it, but there is definitely no play other than Murray State in this one, which weirdly, like SMU's also been really good away from home, like road and neutral, which several of those have been like much better teams, obviously, too. So, I mean, this could be a pretty strange spot where maybe that regresses a little bit towards the mean. So I'm kind of with you. I'm gonna watch that one though.
Sure. We got some sub bangs. Jay Gucci coming in with a subby, 18 months. Let's fucking go, my man. We got Declan 2 coming in with a subby with Prime. Love to see that beast. Let's keep moving. Let's keep grooving. Queens +21 is a donk. Yeah, I'm good on that game, but I'll be rooting for Queens. Keep powering through, Goots. Keep scrolling. We got to pick up the tempo and pace here just a tad. And Javon, let us know if we need to stop for any of these games. I'm just going to stop them on the games that I love plays in. And I'm not loving any of these yet.
Yeah, not many.
ODU is interesting.
Yeah.
ODU +3.5 against Temple is interesting. And that under also piqued my interest as well after ODU and TCU put up almost 200 combined points in that game. That's not ODU's game. ODU is athletic and they can run and hang with a team like TCU that likes to run. But in this spot against a much slower Temple team, I think we get an under. And I think that total was just a speck high after the overreaction from last night's game with ODU putting up an 85 piece and still losing and not covering. I like ODU spread, and I like the under in this game a little bit more because I think Temple's going to be slow like they always are and take ODU and make them look like a completely different team than what they had to look like last night against TCU just to keep up with the Frogs. ODU does not prefer that, and ODU is going to play more to Temple speed here, which is slow, and this game's going to go under.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I'm honestly looking a little bit at the side right below that too. I kind of don't mind Yale today on the road in the fall.
Yeah. Anybody know why Yale opened up +13.5 last night against Kansas? Because that's what I noticed last night when the lines first dropped, Javon, and I was confused.
Yeah.
Is somebody out for Kansas that we don't know about?
Yeah, I mean, not as far as I know, but maybe there's some secret news in there or something. But I don't know, like Kansas, whenever they're not playing a team, or whenever they are playing a team with a stretch big, they've looked a little off. So like Derek Wolfe is more than just a stretch big. Obviously, he's really good in all facets of the game. So like I think even if he was kind of a strictly inside guy, he'd give Hunter Dickinson a little bit of a fit down there. But especially with him stretching the perimeter, like I think that's going to be a problem for them too. So like that makes their team a little bit more one-dimensional when you think about it, because that's kind of their little rock there and on the inside. And when that's not there, you need elite perimeter defense, which they get in some fashion from like Kevin McCullough, a little bit from DeJuan Harris too. But other than that, it's not much. I mean, Marco Jackson's good in spots. Other spots he looks absolutely terrible. Same with really the rest of their like middle of the pack role players. So like there's that. Then like offensively too, if Hunter Dickinson's not able to just body somebody consistently, it's Kevin McCullough versus 5, pretty much. That's been the story every time. So like I think Yale can make this game close. Obviously, like a weird scheduling spot. Kansas has sneakily been very bad at home against these teams early in the season so far. I think they haven't covered a single game against these teams. I think the only one they covered is against UConn, weirdly enough. So like this could be a sneaky spot right before Christmas for Yale.
Okay. Chad's talking about George Mason. I got to laugh at that. George Mason, a wagon we've talked about in the past. I don't know if I'd be taking him today against Tulane, but I love the momentum that George Mason is building with guys like Darius Maddox, the VT transfer. I've been impressed with this team after the Kim English era, being able to stay competitive and be actually one of the better group of 5 teams in college basketball up to this point. But they had their hands full against a Tulane team that can score some goddamn points. This Tulane team likes to run. This Tulane team likes to score, and they don't play a lick of defense. I feel like George Mason is the opposite. I feel like George Mason wins a little bit with their defense, and they're kind of slow. Weird mix of teams. Javon, who do you give an edge to in this contest?
I don't think George Mason's running with Tulane. So, I mean, I think that's the reason you see the line tick towards Tulane. Yeah, so I'm not taking a stab at George Mason. Certainly not in this game.
Yeah, it's a bad matchup for the Mason boys, as much as I'd love for them to win outright. Like Lembong's saying, I'm rooting for them, small little Virginia school who's on the come up. Okay, keep going. Go. Hurry up, Goots. We don't have time. We got to kind of power through these. Hold on. UCLA, -4. Any thoughts against Maryland?
Not really.
No?
I think it's a
what about Missouri?
Game.
What about Missouri +6.5 after a bad loss in their last game? I like Missouri a little bit against an Illinois team. Missouri to bounce back here. It's a neutral site, but it's in St. Louis, so it's pretty much like a home game. But they're coming off of that bad loss to Seton Hall where they were favorites, and the game before that they lost to Kansas. Sure, they covered, but 2 losses in a row for this Mizzou team. I think they'll be looking to bounce back against an overrated Illinois team that has not really impressed me too much. They are ranked. Sure, they've covered 5 games in a row. They're now 6-4 ATS this season. I'd like to fade Illinois in this spot and back Noah Carter and Mizzou to get a big-time cover and maybe even an outright win at home against Illinois at home. But it's neutral site in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm not running the counter for Illinois. I'll say that, but I think they're way too physical for Missouri. It's like that's my one issue, especially because they've been able to show that on the road or in like neutral site games of their own before now, that they're just going to be much better than I guess a lot of us expected on the perimeter and on the inside. It's like the offense is its own question of can that be sustainable and continue, but I think they're just going to physically give Missouri problems.
Okay. All right. Javon laying chalk with Illinois. Sure.
We'll be doing that. I'll lay chalk with the game below that, though. Utah State.
Yeah, give me your 1-minute sell job on Utah State. That was on your best bets. We need to know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that line is fat in the first place. A lot of respect coming off of one of the few games that Utah State's actually been stuffed and not been able to run and play their game offensively, which they won, but they put up 54 points. I don't know if we've seen that in the last couple of years with Utah State basketball really at all. But I think ETSU matches up horrendously for this. One of the worst transition Ds in all of basketball. They're also pretty small at the guard positions. I think this game is just going to be a drubbing. And there's a reason why the line is so high. This is a massive bounce back spot for Utah State. And I think they're going to dominate in all facets of this game.
Okay. I'm in big number for a reason. Lay it with Utah State. They get it done. Last game, I think we could both agree upon here at the end of the card, Loyola Marymount getting 4.5 points at home against Colorado State. Want to take a stab at them?
Gladly. I think they're going to win this game. And it's another team like Colorado State. You make them play in the half court, and Isaiah Stevens, which you mean he gets his against anybody, but it's not nearly the same because he kind of is forced into a lot of bad shot options. Let's say that their shot selection as a team when they're forced in the half court is not nearly the same, and that's why they're so stagnant in the half court. I think Loyola Marymount, who plays on paper like the same style of defense as St. Mary's, who we saw give Colorado State a lot of trouble and beat them in that game, I think it's going to be pretty similar. It's like on the road here, a really tricky spot, kind of staying out west there. Like I think Loyola Marymount is going to clamp them for parts of this game, and I think they could score with them too. Like it's not like the guard perimeter defense of Colorado State is really anything to write home about, which is why we saw St. Mary's slashed to death in that game. It's going to be the same. So I think they get exposed a little bit in this game.
I feel great with my coins on Loyola Marymount at home with Justice Hill probably going to cover Isaiah Stevens. If you guys don't know who Justice Hill is, he was the Murray State kid who went to LSU for a year. Now he's actually finishing up at Loyola Marymount. He's underrated, especially as a defender, and I'm excited to watch him get a chance to clamp up Isaiah Stevens, who is really the only option for that Colorado State team. If you can neutralize him, you can beat Colorado State. The only time they've lost the season, we saw that happen, and I think we'll see that again with this improved guard play from Loyola Marymount at home in this spot where they're clearly a short dog. And let's not forget about Dominic Harris, by the way, the Gonzaga transfer, who's really shined for this team, averaging 15 points a game, the best scorer on that team. He will probably be the best player on that field or on that court tonight besides Isaiah Stevens. Keep your eyes peeled on him. Okay. Dubs, we got 3 minutes, Javon, and we need your hockey plays. So why don't you give me the hockey plays that you're loving, and then we'll craft up what we want to do for the squad rides. And then once we do that, you can go over your little sell jobs. But Goots, it's about that time, brother. Run that shit. Two favorite hockey plays, or at least one? I'm assuming it's Detroit ML on the ice.
It is. Just the Red Wings. That's all I need today against the Flyers.
Right.
Flyers have been good.
Okay, good. And we'll get the sell job going when we get this poll up. Are you good with Murray State?
Yeah, I can live with that.
Out of my best bets, I don't think you really care for the other ones. We can go Utah State. Utah State minus 17.5. We'll go Loyola Marymount plus 5.5. You good with that?
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Is there one more Geyserman that's looking at you funny? Right now, we've got Detroit ML on the ice. We've got Loyola Marymount, Utah State, Murray State. Is there one more Geyserman? It was jumping off.
You got two down there on yours, Nevada, Missouri. You make the call.
Yeah, but you didn't like those ones, so let's pivot to one that we both can get behind.
I'm not fading them either. So, I mean, if you like to play, put it in there. It's a two-man stream.
What if we did? What if we took? Yale plus 15. I like Yale. I'll be on them today.
Oh, man.
You good with that? Chat, 5 plays, 5 winners. All right, get your votes in. You have 1 minute. Hurry the heck up. Go, 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 go. We will get out the Hail Mary and the 5 guys weekend parlay and weekend prize picks entry out to you this afternoon. Okay, so you guys can lock that in and bang your head against your desk when it goes 4 for 5 again, like it did both times in both entries and slips last weekend. But we will get that out to you guys, and we will get out the college football squad ride poll probably later tonight for tomorrow in those bowl games as well, chat. So make sure you guys stay posted to the Book It BTL Twitter. That is where you're going to find any behind the lines content, any plays, any stuff we've been running recently. Just go give that Twitter account a look this weekend when you guys need some winners. And Javon, I want to know real quick, 30-second pitch, Detroit ML on the ice. What do you like about it?
Well, the Flyers have been rolling on an absolute streak here, which I think they lost 2 out of the last 4. But prior to that, I don't know the number off the top of my head, but they've been really good, including a 1-0 shutout of the Red Wings just last week. So now they have Carter Hart coming back today, which he wasn't even a part of that shutout in the first place the first time around. So now they're plus 110 on the road against the Red Wings team who's been very tricky and had some really suspicious performances lately. So yeah, Red Wings.
Seems like you found a little nasty spot for a favorite on the ice. I'm in there.
Yeah.
Let's ride. We're going Loyola Marymount plus 5.5, which honestly is probably what I wanted to win the squad ride tonight. A little late night take me home piece, Javon, for the kids.
Got to.
Love to see it. Sure. Chat, W episode, WBTL show today, W week, W day. Thank you guys for joining. Stick around for the Surge stream right after this. Okay, Trent's going to take you through his plays, and if you want to pitch him a winner, he will drop the link in chat, and we will catch you guys next week. I hope you all have a great holiday. Okay, have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you're doing this weekend, just have a great fucking time. Spend extra time with your family. Be extra nice to your family because I'm sure they annoy you guys. My family annoys me, but I love them, and I'm excited to spend some time with them over the holidays this weekend. So let's all have a great time, and most importantly, let's cash our bets this weekend, guys. Stay posted, the Book of BTL Twitter accounts, and Javon. We'll catch these guys next week. Okay?
We will.
W's. Sure. Have a great holiday, gents. All right. Don't blow your bankroll in one day. We got plenty of action